Okay. I feel like these were literally never gonna come. Like, I actually emailed the seller and was like, are you just trying to scam me out of my turbo money? This is getting ridiculous. And then the next day they finally showed up. But it took 35 days. 35 days! It's just outrageous. And it wouldn't be that bad, but this is actually the second set. The first set, they said they couldn't even get it because they were going to be like several months out. Oh my goodness. All right, in case you guys are wondering what these are going to end up on, I've been waiting almost an entire year and planning to do another remote mount twin turbo on my Z, but I had to, you know, buy a Z after the Panda car. So now that I own one, I've been planning out how I want to do it.
Is it bigger? Bigger
this is like a medium-ish size.
Bigger than those on Pandas though?
I think the original turbos would have been very close to the same size, because ultimately the potential, go ahead and open this all the way up. I want to see what the exhaust looks like because that's kind of critical to the design.
They're both the same size?
Yeah, so what we kind of figured out last time on the Panda Z was you do want these things to start to spool up, and we're probably never going to spin them to like 30 PSI. So you want to do a housing and a wheel that kind of gets it going a little quicker. So this one has a little bit smaller wheel, but still has, I believe, a 57 trim compressor. I'm not 100% sure on that, but either way, we wanted two turbos that would make at least 350 horsepower each, so that in a twin application, I could make close to 600 wheel or 700 crank. So that is the overall goal. Oh my goodness, this is so exciting. This took way too long for these to get here. My Z's been sitting in the driveway with no turbos on it, and it's just outrageous.
Everything needs
Outrageous. Everything does need a turbo. Okay. We'll put this back in the box and revisit this shortly. I just have to finish a project or two before I can pull it into the shop. Speaking of that, Mr. Raven, we have Raven Z out there in the parking lot, and we are going to stick his motor in like right now. And that's kind of, whoa, it is way hot out here. That's kind of the plan for the week. Oh, I have one more thing. Let me show you guys this. Do you guys see this this crazy car right here? Woo! Honda S2000. This thing came in the other day and it's got a lot of stuff going on with it. We're trying to like sort this thing out, get him all boosted and finished, sorry about the wind, and see if we can get him on the dyno with a new management system. But we'll get into that more in just a minute. Isn't it nice when your friends come to work just to help you clean your tools for no particular reason other than they just know that you're busy? Thanks, man.
You're very welcome.
Okay, so like I said, look, we got Raven's bumper, we got Mr. Raven, and we used good old Betsy to finally go get a 350Z motor, which is pretty exciting. We just have to take some of the accessories off of his old stock one and stick it on this one and then get ready to place it in. We picked up a few upgrades while we were waiting for the motor to go back in. I guess I could show you guys some of this stuff right now. We grabbed him this clutch. I don't know what brand it is, but it's green, and green's like Raven's favorite color, so why not? And I think it's a stage 4, so it should hold enough power to do whatever we want. So just need to get this car into the 400 plus club at least. We did order him a set of motor mounts that are a little bit more solid, and the rest of this is for his Honda, but let's open these up right now. Give me 1 second, I'll show you what this looks like. Wow, goodness gracious. These things are solid. Well, we decided that we would just give solid a try. I have no idea if this is a good idea or not, but it is quite interesting. Wow, full solid mounts. It's crazy. Comment below, would you guys put solid mounts on your car? Do you think it's gonna vibrate a lot? I do. But Raven wanted solid mounts, so that's what we're doing. Should be pretty good to like make the torque transfer back to the rear end like quite well. Okay, stick these on the car. Okay, so right now we're pulling off the upper plenum. We're gonna go ahead and slide these injectors out of here and put the bigger ID1000s back in and get this all fitted up for the turbo stuff. It's just kind of a lot of like switching over parts from his back onto this one to get a little bit more ready before we set it in the car, but I'm pretty happy. The motor really looks like it's pretty clean and in decent condition. Oh boy, the hood's coming off. That means good things. Yeah! Look at this muscle right here. Lifting the whole motor. I think these are gonna rattle your teeth out.
Solid.
But you know what? When you make all that boost, it's not gonna move.
Oh yeah.
Not at all. Okay, there she is, the Project S2000 that came in. He bought a few things based on my recommendation before he came down. I told him you should probably get a good wideband so that way I can integrate it into your ECU and then we can use it to like trim and do things in the future. And also it's good for reference. So he got that new AEM X Series wideband that I told him about. I figured it was appropriate also because he'd already bought the AEM Series 2, so why not stick together with the same brand? Plus I really do love those widebands, so. Anyway, basically he's got a CX Racing turbo kit on here. It's mostly finished. You'll see that his wastegate dump is sitting down here and it looks like it needs a pipe off of that. There's cables and hoses and stuff. I've already been kind of looking through it a bit. But basically I gotta fix a bunch of vacuum lines and routing stuff and just kind of like check the setup over, make sure it's all correct. And also kind of like check a few things because this turbo kit, I'll show you, it's really, really close to a lot of his like wiring harness and stuff down in this area. I've kind of pulled some stuff off with zip ties, but I may need to heat wrap some of that as well. Anyway, I've got a few of that kind of things to do. I need to make this dump tube for this and finish installing this wideband. And then I need to stick the AEM in it, write the base calibration, and scale all of his other stuff. In the meantime, he had been wiring up his fuel pump with an additional relay, and I guess the reason that you do that is because on the bigger pumps sometimes they pull too much amperage and they can overload the factory circuit. So they added a relay to handle the extra pump, the bigger pump. This is the Walbro 450, and they had it kind of installed. The hose looked a little short. I'm going to lengthen that back out, sort this back out, and get it back in the car, but and then finish wiring the relay. So once I get that all done, he should have a fuel system that works, and assuming that all the other stuff is moved away from the heat, we can actually try to fire it up with the new management system. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick, at least get the pump in, and then we'll kind of go from there. It's hot in here. All right, so I got this fuel pump fitted up. The strainer now stays on in the correct location like it's supposed to. If I pull on it, it doesn't come off. And the isolator's all nice and tight. And we upgraded the fuel line to something a little bit longer, and it's the fuel rated hose, so it won't ever disintegrate in the tank. And it's clamped on very nice. Everything's assembled good. Now we just got to stick it back in there and make sure the wiring's working correct to the relay, and then it should actually prime with the key. Okay, I've been working away on the S2000 a little bit. I'm just about done with the wiring in the back for the fuel pump. I'll show you guys that in a minute, but Yari just showed up and he got a new front lip for the RSX, and we have some new prototype battery tray for him. I don't know if you've been following the channel for a while, but we make these battery trays that relocate your battery to the front passenger side corner, and we have the version 2 coming out pretty soon. It'll probably launch in like maybe a month, and we're testing it right now, doing the drive around test, making sure everything works good. But I'll show you that, guys, just right now. We're gonna go put it on as we speak. piece there.
Yeah.
But every time we put these on, the sun just hits it for like a few hours.
And it makes it hard.
Yeah, it makes it like go right where it's supposed to. So, dang, let's go check this thing out. All right, guys. So this is the V1 battery tray that we'd been selling for the last year. It basically just incorporated some structural steel welded together here in-house by hand. It's all full TIG welded and powder coated. And it's very strong, it's very light, and we sold quite a few of them. So we decided that we should probably do like a revision, because we had some suggestions from some people that we bought it from that we could move the placement back a little bit, which would accommodate the fog light a little better if you have a show car and you're trying to keep the fog light. If we went back just 1 inch, they're saying we could probably retain the light. So that was one modification. And the second modification was, even though this was very, very light, like I think my shipping weight in the box is only 3 pounds, our new one is even lighter. It's probably like a whole pound lighter. And this one is actually laser cut out of stainless steel material. And it's just, we just TIG weld it here in house as well. So this is still just the prototype. This is the first one we've made. We don't have them listed for sale, but we will very soon, as soon as we do an actual production run of them. So we just thought this would be so cool. We were able to incorporate the company name into the side and just build it out of just a nicer, really long-lasting material. Now granted, obviously these ones are going to last forever with the powder coating, but this one, I mean, you know, stainless steel like lasts pretty much forever as well. So this one should be taking the place of this. We're going to go ahead and switch this out right now, because one of the things we like to do is we like to run all the products that we actually sell. That way when we sell anything, we know that our customers are going to be very happy with them. So we're going to install this right now and let you know how it goes. Okay, so I was working on testing out that battery for the fitment in our new revised battery tray. And in the meantime, we stuck back on the factory battery tray. There's a few revisions I need to do, but it was very, very close. It fit, it held the battery. We're just going to make some revisions on the placement. We were hoping to get like 1 inch of movement back towards the wheel to accommodate the light, and we got about half of the distance that we needed. So the new revision's no big deal. We moved some bolt hole spots, and we should be able to like accommodate that distance. And we're gonna probably leave it slotted so that if you got big wheels, you can push it forward a little bit, and if you have like the fog light situation, you can push it back a little bit. So either way, our one customer that has, I think he's got like 18 by 10, so I mean, if you can fit those, I don't know how far forward you really need to push it anymore. So anyway, Yari's just about done getting this front lip on with the old battery tray. Dang, dude, that looks so much better. Yeah, we're just get some heat on it, let it mold itself in, but dang, that already changes the look of this car like so freaking much. That is so nice. It just looked like it was missing something before. Look at that smiley intercooler. Look at that smiley Yari, because he's finally got his front lip. You're on the toll road doing about 100, right? And ripped that thing off?
Yeah, the old car. Sold the other one.
Yeah, so it's nice just to have one back on again. That just looks so much better. Like, small details is what it's all about. We're not really car show guys, but sometimes we try. We try. Oh, man, we still have not gone back on the dyno for this car yet. You guys saw the last video where we're building the motor. But you've put, what, like a week of driving on it probably?
Yeah, about a week now, and it's probably about 40 miles.
40 miles? Okay, that's not very far. Yeah, you don't live very far from here. We're gonna let him get a few more miles on it and then kind of go from there. We also, we think we might be switching from the Doctronics back to Honda just for a few like tuning purposes. We have like a Honda 4-bar map sensor and a few other things that scale really easy on the software. So it will just make my life easier as a tuner. The other software works, but the map scaling was horrible and didn't really give me enough resolution, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So anyway, we just got to get him a new ECU sorted out, and then we'll be back on the dyno. But in the meantime, you can totally drive around the way that it was, because it was driving really, really good for quite a long time. All right, guys, it looks like Raven just finished putting oil in his car, so he's going to try and see if it starts for the first time, which is pretty exciting. Let's see what it does. Woo, crazy freaking Nissan Z. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Dang, that sounded nice. It's alive, dude! Woo! Dang, that's crazy. That's fantastic news. We got one car buttoned up. We'll just have to like do a few final things on it when we go on the dyno. So, man, that's really, really exciting. All right, I'm gonna let him play with that a little bit more. This video is getting kind of long. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. I'll see you guys in a few days, and we'll put a couple of these cars we've been working on, like the S2000, possibly Raven's car, and who knows what else on the dyno next week. And we'll have some more fun with them. Man, that is really exciting that he got his car running again. All right, guys, see you in a few days.